Why are you showing the dogs? Nobody cares about the dogs. See, look at that. The camera has to adjust. You're putting it over in the bright light, and then you turn it towards us, and it has to adjust.
People would rather see the dogs than us.
And once again, you're out of frame. You need to pay attention to this.
Wouldn't you rather see the dogs than us? Come on, be honest.
You're still out of frame.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Oh, we are up and ready to go. Hey, what are you doing? I know people don't want to look at me, but I am the one talking. That's better. So, we're up, ready to go, heading out to Fort Pickens. We've got a campsite.
Kind of sad. There's no place else. There's no place that's new to us from here on out.
No, we do have a new spot.
Well, Universal, but I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't count that because it's.
So we're leaving Buccaneer State Park in Mississippi, heading over to Fort Pickens, which is Pensacola Beach, Florida.
Why do you say Pickens, but you don't say Pensacola?
Well, why do you pick on me?
I'm just picking on
me. Why are you picking on me? My gosh. Such a pain.
No.
Princess. So, heading out to Fort Pickens, and we've got arrival time says 12:20. It's 9 o'clock, so it says we're going to be there in 3 hours and 20 minutes. You know it's going to take us longer because we move slow. Check-in is at 1 o'clock. They changed the check-in procedure, so now it is you just pay your national park entrance fee and then cruise on over to your campsite, and then later on somebody will come and verify that you are who you say you are, which is nice. Before you had to stop at the visitor center or the campground registration office, whatever it was, and check in and then move on to the sites. And looking forward to the road trip today. We're going to be going through the tunnel in Mobile.
Oh, yay. That's always a highlight.
And then moving into Florida. The visitor center was closed last year when we got into Florida, going down I-10. I wonder if it's open this year. I wonder if they're as slow as Oklahoma, or if...
And the visitor center in Florida has free orange juice and grapefruit juice.
It did. Maybe they changed that. Maybe they took it all away.
Maybe so. Maybe that's why they were down, so they could take away the machines.
Well, you know how that governor is. Anyway, politics aside. Now that's a cool fifth wheel. We've been here for 2 nights, and that fifth wheel has been here too.
Yeah,
it's got a door on the back end of it.
Let's see, do I have it?
Now I wonder what that does with floor plan inside.
Now we have to look it up.
Yeah, Columbus. We'll have to look that up. That's pretty cool. It's got that door on the back. I'm guessing I'm guessing they don't use it much because his pickup is butted up right next to the stairs. So anyway, back to where we were going.
Welcome to our world.
Welcome to my head. Sorry. Heading off Fort Pickens. Fun morning. Really looking forward to this, and hopefully the wind isn't blowing like this at Fort Pickens. Alrighty then.
Okay, it wasn't recording. Is that okay?
Hit the road, huh? Hey, welcome to Fort Pickens.
We're at Fort Pickens.
We are, but we can't show anything. For those of you who are not aware, it is actually against the law to record video at a national park and post it online. Some would argue that you, as a Facebook user posting a video of Grand Canyon, you're not making any money off of it, but Facebook is. So technically, nobody is allowed to post video on social media of a national park. They say they're not going after you about it, you know, as small, like, you know, YouTube creators or Facebook users, but the way the law is written out, they can go after you, and that's a $10,000 gamble that I'm not willing to take. With that being said, I thought we would just film, you know, there are some sequences that we recorded inside the camper. After an experience, which I will explain to you at the end of this video, so hang on for that one. Because
that was kind of like a teaser.
It was a teaser. I don't usually do teasers. But because of what happened to us at Fort Pickens, I'm not comfortable posting that video that I recorded inside my camper because we were on national park lands.
Wow.
Because, well...
But they wouldn't know.
Yeah, they would because of things we said.
Okay.
So... We'll get to that at the end. And if you're curious, here's federal law requires a permit for all commercial filming, no matter the size of the crew or the type of equipment. This includes individuals or small groups that don't use much equipment but generate revenue by posting footage on websites such as YouTube and TikTok.
So generate revenue, even though we don't get revenue.
YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, they generate revenue because of the content that you post. So this can easily be interpreted as we generate content, even though we don't make money on the video. So anyway, moving on. Fort Pickens, we love Fort Pickens Campground. And the one thing that we got, I wish I could show you footage of it, but there's two reasons I can't show you footage of it. One was what I just covered. Two is because of the waves, you don't hear it coming. Somebody else has to go, hey, here come the Blue Angels. And by the time you get your camera out, all you see is a contrail and 5 dots on the horizon. It was awesome. That was actually on a bucket list.
I think you got some footage of that just outside the park too, though.
Yes. I wanted to get...
No.
I wanted to be on the beach when the Blue Angels flew over. And apparently they do that when they return from an air show somewhere else. They were coming back from Georgia, I think. And the heavy breathing is not Teresa, it's the dog.
He doesn't really bark, so when he sees a DOG, he starts doing that.
Speaking of Blue Angels, we did go over to the Naval Air Base and went to the Air Museum there, and my gosh, you have got to go.
It's free.
It is free and just jam-packed full of different aircraft, couple of my favorite planes in there, the Corsair.
You're playing your cards with your Queen of Hearts. When everyone folds, your fork still holds. You're placing your bet, showing no regret. Close your eyes to hide your lies, roll the dice. You got me tiptoeing around you like you're made of glass. Got an invincible fence, letting everyone know not to trespass. But you're bound to break down, bound to lose, bound to get knocked right out of your boots when I use my witchcraft. You're playing it cool, bending all the rules, talking way too loud, and you're talking rude. You're playing a game, driving me insane. Your heart is back, and it's a fact, no turning back. You got me tiptoeing around you like you're made of glass. Got an invincible fence, letting everyone know not to trespass. But you're bound to break down, bound to lose, bound to get knocked right out of your boots when I use my witchcraft. When I use my witchcraft. Come on. You got me tiptoeing around you like you're made of glass. Got an invincible fence, letting everyone know not to trespass. But you're bound to break down, bound to lose, bound to get knocked right out of your boots when I use my witchcraft. When I use my witchcraft. I've got my moves, I got my song. When I turn my mojo on, I'm feeling fine, I'm feeling strong. It won't take long when I use my witchcraft. When I use my witchcraft. Watch me use my witchcraft. I'm gonna use my witchcraft.
We also went to a Blue Angels practice. Unfortunately, the weather didn't allow for them to actually practice. And if you don't know, they have scheduled practices. If you go to their website, you can find their schedule.
It's free.
And it's free. Go there. From what I understand, it's like a mini air show that they put on. And you've got a couple of people there in the crowd on loudspeakers explaining what's going on, explaining what you're getting ready to see.
People bring their lawn chairs.
It is really, really neat, and it's free.
It's free.
We did get to see one plane buzz by us and disappear into the clouds. It was still pretty cool.
And that was cool because it was the one that was checking the weather to see how low the clouds were and how dangerous it was. And what the guy was explaining, they actually have 3 types of shows. They have a high show. I can't remember what they're called. A high show, a low show, and then I can't remember what
if the skies are clear, they're putting on the big show up high, but he said he actually preferred the shows that were down lower because it was
loud and in your face.
Yeah, which would be really cool to watch.
And protection for your kids. I mean, I would definitely bring protection for your kids.
But you got to go. You got to go. If you're in Pensacola.
Not protection like a bubble suit, but ear protection.
If you're in Pensacola, you got to go see it. You really do. Just the museum part of it is awesome, and if you can get there on a practice morning, that just kicks it up another notch or two. One of the other things we got to do on the base was go to a lighthouse. What was it, 177 steps?
167, I think, 167.
170-ish, plus or minus?
172, 176. I don't know.
Pretty tall lighthouse. It didn't feel that way. Of course, I mean, my belly doesn't show it, but Terry and I are in decent shape. So, but it did not feel like we went up that high.
No, it didn't.
It was up high, though. You stepped out there, and
and if you
wow.
got a fear of heights, your legs are going to be jelly. The other fear of heights things comes when, if somebody is coming down, you have to move off into a little window area, but there's not, you have to, it's not easy to step onto the window area. So just things to keep in mind. I mean, it's a little bit difficult. And we went at a time that wasn't very busy. I'm sure they limit how many people come in, but I would think even if there were a couple more people, that would have been
it was like the lighthouse that we went to on Assateague. They only let so many people up at a time, and you pretty much had, it seems like you had a ticket or something, and you just waited your turn to go.
It wasn't as tall,
but well worth the visit. If you haven't been to Fort Pickens campground, it's
oh, and you can stand over by the fort and you can watch the practices too.
Yes. Yeah. On practice mornings, if you're not able to get over there, or if you get over there and they've already filled up the parking lot, which happened to some people there in the campground one morning, come back to the fort and actually go over to the fort itself and line up on one of the walls out there and just watch the show. I mean,
or the beach.
It's in the sky. Yeah, the beach is a fun place to watch it. I watched some of it from the camp store because I was hooking up the Jeep while she went down to the beach to watch it. Good place to watch it if you can't make it over there. Of course, we have done a previous video on Fort Pickens, so you can look, you can watch it to see some of the other activities do there. It was filmed prior to all this other stuff about needing a permit. The one thing, and honestly, Terry and I follow the park rules. We just do. Whether we agree with them or not, we follow them. They're there for a reason. But this one is just this one rule, and we followed it to the T. It's laughable. There's this, back when in my younger days we played this game, Roller Coaster Tycoon, where you would drop, if a roller coaster broke down, you'd drop a mechanic over there. If there was trash on the ground, you'd drop the janitor over there. Terry and I have this running joke. When we're at Smoky Mountains National Park, somebody, a giant hand, grabs a park ranger and drops him over where the bears are. They
just always seem to be where they're.
They just appear out of nowhere. At Fort Pickens campground, the rule is, I'm going to read it so I don't.
You don't say it wrong.
Don't say it wrong. Okay, the rule is, and this is section 2.10B, and part H. No more than 2 vehicles, including trailers, per campsite at the Davis Bayou or Fort Pickens campgrounds. Vehicles and trailers must be parked on the designated site's paved parking pad and cannot impede the flow of traffic or extend into the traffic lane. Additional vehicles and trailers that do not fit on the paved site will be parked at one of the designated overflow parking areas.
Well, sounds like normal.
We knew this rule. I mean, they make it clear.
And it's pretty much a lot of campgrounds.
They make it clear. Even when we're making the reservations, this is one of the rules that comes up. They want to make it clear.
Right.
And this is why I say it's so comical, because when you step out of your camper, the asphalt is 6 inches above ground level.
I was positive I was going to break an ankle.
But we watched, we pulled in, we backed our camper in, and I parked my Jeep perpendicular to the camper. I've got a 2-door Jeep, short wheelbase. It is so easy for me to park perpendicular to the camper, and the tires never leave the pavement. Never leave the pavement. And that's how we were parked. And the guy next to us, he was still in the process of setting up.
Yeah, so we didn't warn him because he was still setting up.
He was still setting up. He had shifted his pickup over so he could finish setting up. And it was, here comes that giant hand. They dropped that little park ranger down there, and they're getting onto him for parking.
They were nice.
His truck was, it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but I'm really not. His truck was about 4 or 5 inches out across the imaginary line that separates the campsite and the campground road. That's the rule, though. I'm not arguing it was only 5 inches. I'm just saying that's what it was.
Yeah.
But they got onto him about it, and and
we kind of like, wow, because we knew that, but that was really fast that they were right.
Yeah. I mean, the dude hadn't even finished setting up, and he was already getting in trouble. Welcome to the national park.
Yeah, but he went past our Jeep that was just
he looked right at our Jeep when he drove by.
But it was all in the pavement.
I mean, we were on the pavement and not impeding the road at all.
Yeah.
So the next morning we get up and we have a flyer stuffed in the wiper of our Jeep with that, what I just read, highlighted on the flyer.
And said something about you need to go park in the overflow.
I mean, the last part, where it said you will at one of the designated overflow parking areas. And I looked at that Jeep and I'm like, all 4 wheels are on the asphalt.
We hadn't moved it since the day before when they came by. It hadn't been moved at all.
I'm like, I'm clueless. I don't know what's going on here, but we parked in overflow. After we went on about our business, and when we got back to camp, we just parked in overflow for the rest of our stay. I had no idea, no clue at all what rule I had broken, but because I obviously hadn't broken the rule that was highlighted on the.
Yeah, we even both went around and looked. Like,
So, but I parked in overflow for the rest of the time because whatever, it's not a big deal, and I got better things to do than
flyers. Getting flyers on your Jeep is not as much fun as getting a duck on your Jeep.
I prefer the duck myself, but so fast forward to leaving day, and I take the Jeep out of the overflow and bring it over to the campsite and park it perpendicular to the camper. All 4 wheels never left the pavement. All 4 wheels on the pavement. I was not impeding traffic. As a matter of fact, I was a few inches to the proper side of the imaginary line. Brought it over there because we got to pack up the fence and get the bikes, put the bikes on, all that stuff. We're packing up. We're getting ready to leave. We go inside and we're recording a little segment, and I get a knock on the door, and this park ranger is accosting me like I had intentionally broken a rule. And I'm like, I'm still lost. And the park ranger explains you have to be parked in line with your camper. I'm like, why? I mean, the way it was put to me was, if you're a motorcycle camper, you can't park sideways.
Yeah.
Your motorcycle has to be in line with your tent or camper or whatever. But I'm like, I'm still lost. I'm like, what? But my vehicle never left the pavement. And I was told that it did. I'm like, no. My vehicle never left the pavement. I never touched the grass when I parked.
But he didn't even say it like he's saying it right now. When he's saying no, he was just genuinely like, What are you? He was.
But that led to my next question. Was okay. I'm all right. I'm not arguing that you want me to park, but where is that written? Because you're treating. I mean, when I say I was accosted by this park ranger, I'm serious. The park ranger came at us like.
She just had a little bit of attitude.
Like we were just throwing trash out into the yard.
Remember, you weren't going to make this too negative. Be careful.
I know. But they came at us like we were throwing trash out into the yard in front of them.
No more.
So I asked that question, okay, can you tell me where this rule is written down? And I believe I said something about because you're treating me like I've broken a known rule, but I was not aware of this rule.
Don't know about this, yeah.
And I was told, well, it's not written down.
Nobody told us that it's not written down. So it's like,
yeah. So
when you go through, there's a thing that implants it in your brain when you go through the entrance.
Now, this is why I'm not posting any of the footage we recorded on national park properties, because if the park ranger is like that, that's how the park superintendent is directing them to treat people. So if the park superintendent sees footage that was recorded on national park property, you know, they could come after us. So I'm like I said, I don't want to do the $10,000 gamble. But one of the park hosts actually did a better job of explaining it to me, because he come by like a couple of minutes later and apologized for the way that this park ranger treated us. And he explained that when you used to have to check in up front, that was one of the things that you were told verbally. It was never in writing. It's never been in writing. It's still not in writing. But he said that was something that was communicated verbally when you checked in. Okay. Yeah, like I said before, Terry and I, we don't have any problems following the rules as long as they're...
Just tell us the rules.
Yeah, you know, we'll play the game. You just got to tell us how.
Tell us.
So, anyway, that's why there's no footage of Fort Pickens campground on here. That's, without going off the deep end, that's probably why you won't see a whole lot of footage of national parks from us. Other people are still doing it. Other people are willing to make that $10,000 gamble, or they are shelling out the money to get the permit, which, by the way, the permit and all the fees associated with it cost more than what most people make off of the videos. So there's that.
Part of our purpose for telling you this is just to let you know that that's the rule, so that you don't
That
get
is
accosted.
the rule. That is the rule.
Because
follow all rules, even those unwritten.
Yeah. So just do that, and if there's not room, just go park in overflow parking, because it's really not worth it.
No, and parking and overflow parking is not a big deal for me.
No, I feel bad for people that have mobility issues.
Yes.
And if it's a ways away, but it was pretty close to where we were. It wasn't too far. So.
But had a great time out there. Other than that last 5 minutes at the park, we had a great time out there. It's a great place to go. It's inexpensive.
And even that was kind of just funny.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, I was, after they walked off, I was fit to be tied. But now it's just like, oh my gosh, really? Just put it in writing and let people know. But we'd better stop. We've been rambling on for quite a while on this one. But hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it's helpful for you.
Yeah.
And we'll catch y'all down the trail.
See you later.